Hi guys, it's Bree and welcome back to All Things Autism. So I know what you're thinking. Bree, isn't this a video about functions of behavior? What's with the Betty Crocker getup? I promise you this will all make sense. So I have a question for you. How many of you have a child at home or a student or you've seen someone in the community with autism and they're engaging in a behavior that makes you think, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And how do I make you stop? Now, I know many of you parents and providers, you'll already know that you can't possibly start to make the plan to address the behavior unless you know why the person is engaged in the behavior. And we call those functions of behavior because behavior is communication. When people engage in behaviors, there's a purpose behind it. And when you're working with people who have autism spectrum disorder, it's really important to understand the function. What's maintaining, what's reinforcing that behavior? So I have a fun little acronym for you, and it's called MEATS, M-E-A-T-S. See how this all comes together? Meats, pot, apron. That M is really important, and a lot of times it's not talked about. The M stands for medical. Guys, if you don't remember anything else from this video, please remember that M. And to just reinforce it some more, I have some Band-Aids, an ACE bandage, and some Advil. I want you to imagine that one day you wake up with a killer headache or menstrual cramps or an ingrown toenail or a double ear infection or a fever or your bladder's on fire because you have a UTI, but you can't communicate any of that to anybody. What might you do? I'm telling you now, if I had any of those and I couldn't communicate, I'd probably drop to the floor, I'd probably scream, I'd probably run around, maybe I hit myself in the head. Okay, so oftentimes people who can't communicate and who aren't feeling well are going to engage in an increase in behaviors or new behaviors because they can't possibly let you know that they feel terrible inside. So that's why it is super important before anybody goes collecting the data and trying to figure out the function of behavior that you rule out any possible medical cause for that increase or that change or that new behavior that's occurring. Okay, now that we got that M taken care of, that E stands for escape. Now imagine you're a 20-something-year-old with autism living in a group home, okay, with 6 or 7 other people and staff, and your staff want to teach you how to set the table. But you want no part of that. You don't like setting the table. You don't even want to be in the dining room because you don't like 2 of the people in your home. So instead of saying, I need a break, I don't want to do this because you don't perhaps have the skills to do that, you start hitting yourself in the head really hard because your staff member who loves you, doesn't want to see you hitting yourself, says, Bree, come with me, put your hands down, let's go inside. What did you just learn? You learned that in order to escape a situation you don't want to be in, if you hit yourself in the head, people will take you away. Okay, that A in MEATS stands for attention. We're going to use the same exact behavior of hitting our head. Let's say you have 2 children, one that has autism, one that does not. And your mom, you have both of them home. You're asking your child who doesn't have autism how their day was, and they're telling you, I played with this one, we went to art, this is what we did. And your child with autism wants your attention but doesn't know how to get it. So they start hitting themselves in the head. And you, mom, you're loving, you don't want your child to hurt themselves. So you come over, you give a hug, you give a kiss, come with me, let's read a book. But what just happened there? Your child learned that in order to get your attention, they're going to hit themselves in the head because you're a good mom, you're going to come over and attend to them. The T stands for tangible. So I want you to think about things that people may want to gain access to, right? Maybe it's a cozy little stuffy. He's mine. Don't judge. Or perhaps something delicious like trail mix that has M&Ms. Also mine. But I don't have the skills to ask for it. So I'm gonna hit myself in the head, same behavior, different function. And my dad, because he loves me so much, is gonna come over and say, I know you loved Mr. Monkey and your trail mix, here you go. And magically my hands come down because I've learned that if I wanna gain access to something, all I have to do is hit myself in the head and somebody's gonna give it to me. That S in MEATS, we're gonna say it stands for sensory. You might see it referred to as something else, but really what it comes down to is sensory input. Now this one's a little tricky because again, even though this looks painful, it could actually feel good to someone. It could be providing them with the sensory input, I need to stop doing that, the sensory input that they may need. Perhaps they're overwhelmed and overstimulated by the environment, or they're bored and they're understimulated, but this feels really good to them. Okay, so as you can see, the same behavior can have 4 different functions. And if you don't know the function of the behavior, you can't possibly address it in the proper way. Now, there will be other videos about how to find the function of behavior and things that we call replacement behaviors, again, in different videos to come. So guys, if you have any questions about what I just showed you here, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer those. As always, thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing, and we shall chat again soon.